Hello, Grand Rising. How's everybody doing today? It is Ashley Indigo here to help you see what you can't see, hear what you can't hear, and feel what you can't feel. And this is the month of February, and this is the collective read. Excuse me. Definitely got love on the brain. I think it's because it's February. I've got love on the brain. Two is the second month February is the second month in the calendar year out of 12 months. Let's go ahead and look at the number. When we think about two, we think about balance. We are in a time of, with the 2022 energy, that 222 again. We are in an energy, we're in a space of just trying to find balance, between who we are and who we've become. Trying to find balance as far as who God created us to be versus the avatar that we've created ourselves to be. And what's so important about those two different dynamics is the inner child that I talk about a lot. That's who we are. That's who God intended us to be. That's before the conditioning. That's before the indoctrination. That's before pretty much the programming. And so now we're in a space where that small, still voice in us is wanting to be seen, is wanting to be heard, is wanting to be out. But then we have the chains that bind us, the shoulds, coulds, and woulds of our lives. And so here, moving into this second calendar month of the year, we're going to be looking to break some of that down. I know me personally, last month I was in this place of wanting to be more vulnerable, wanting to break out of my shell, really letting the little girl within me shine unapologetically and unashamed. And through prayer and dedication and just willpower, the will to be more, the will to challenge life, to challenge my own capability. That is something that is just, come out of me. But you know me, I could talk forever. So anyways, y'all, we are going to go ahead and get into this collective read. I'm feeling love. And I feel like, some of us, a lot of us, part of that balance, the person that God created us to be and the person that we are, is finding the playfulness within, finding that childlike energy and bringing that to the table, not only in the relationships with ourselves, but bringing that into the relationships with other people. Because so many of us, and it's been me, I'm going to jump in and out of it. Us, y'all. There's so many of us who have gotten in relationships and we don't know what we're looking for. We think we want one thing, but the person that we really are, the person that God designed us to be, needs something different. What we need, it might not look like what we want. What we need, it might not feel like or be presented in the package that we want it presented in. But there comes a point where you have to realize, honey, this ain't the movies. Nobody gives a fuck about who you date. Nobody really cares about any of those things. It's about your happiness. It's about the person that you're with accepting who you are at the core level. And the problem is so many of us have no clue who we are. So we end up attracting, manifesting, pursuing someone or something that doesn't need our attention. Butter so good it just dripped. All right. So in my soul here, in my spirit, I feel like 3 is the name of the game. Okay. This message is, I feel like, even though children don't typically think about, what it is that they want to, that they want to date, because children, that they don't have, that's not their concern. But 3, I associate that a lot with the inner child, the higher part of us. And I feel like this message that's about to come through me is, all of the child in us kind of trying to bring things to our attention and things that we need to think about. It's time to, use that to energy and balance out the scales and balance out our lives and, just kind of set us in a more authentic, direction. Because in the readings leading up to, I didn't do a reading for last month, but in the readings leading up to 2022, I did mention how everyone was going to be craving authenticity, and the fake shit's just not going to fly. Okay, so I want to incorporate a little bit of love into this. I'm going to pick from 3 different decks. 3 is about just making sure that you're balanced in mind, body, and soul. Thinking that you're not just talking about the shit or thinking about the shit, but you're actually taking the necessary steps. So we're definitely going to be continue to be called forward into action this month, into action as far as taking control over our relationships, taking control over, and I don't mean control like control issues. I mean just taking back our power of choice in our relationships, in the life that we live, in the circumstances or the situations that we find ourselves in, okay? So the first deck I'm going to pull from a romance card. I feel like this month, everyone's got love on the brain. It's kind of a top tier situation. So for the collective, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card from my Romance Angels deck. God, what is it you're wanting us to know? And when we think about love, let's not just think about love, because everyone isn't in a relationship. Sorry, I've got like a shiner right here. Oof, that little outburst of anger. Another video, maybe we'll get into that, the metaphysics of how pains and certain things, emotions show up in our life physically. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead, and when we think about love and relationships, it's not all about the love relationship with somebody else. 6 it does stand for the relationship that we have with self, the self-love. Some people can't find a relationship because they don't love themselves. Some people can't find a relationship because they don't know themselves. But at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is, while relationships are so glamorized here in this dimension, it's just not necessary when you come from a place where it's all love all the time. Now, some connections may be stronger than others, but like I said, this 2022 energy is really going to put us in a place of strengthening the relationship with ourselves. And you will find that when you hone in and align with your true essence, the true self, the inner child, then you might, out of nowhere, manifest, a relationship you're looking for. So anyways, okay, stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Okay. I mean, this card's pretty self-explanatory. It's got a lady. She has some flowers. It looks like she's giving up some type of an offering. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you giving up some type of offering. For me, I feel like this card, I feel like someone is... There's a couple ways I take this. I feel like someone is trying to force a situation that does not need to be forced. So some of you may be trying to force a situation that does not need to be forced. And although you're optimistic, although you are, you would say you're being positive, but deep down, you're not being positive. You just feel like you have no choice but to try to be optimistic and to think positive, and things will just fix themselves. And that's a lie. That's not going to happen. Some people are having problems letting go of situations that they don't need to be in, pretending to be happy in situations that they don't need to be in. And what I can say is the only thing that is stopping you from moving forward is the fact that instead of being optimistic about life, instead of thinking positively and knowing that you will find what is necessary for you, you're being a fool. You're being a fool. If I had a deck, well, I do have one psychic a tarot deck here, but if I had a tarot deck, I would definitely say you're in the fool position because you refuse to see the truth and your optimism is misplaced. Instead of being, like I said, instead of being optimistic about your life, instead of being optimistic about, the relationship you have with yourself, you are choosing to put all of that into something that's not producing, that hasn't been producing for a while. Okay. There may be some people who are single, who have never enjoyed being single before, but they're in a space to where they're just fucking loving it. Like they're just loving being themselves. They're just loving, the energy that they keep. They feel sexier being alone than they do when they're in a relationship with somebody else. That is what I'm picking up. And good for you. I feel like this is someone who is growing up. They're in a more mature space in their life Whereas maybe in prior years, they might have felt like when they weren't in a relationship, something was wrong with them, that they were the problem. You felt like you were the problem. Why won't this person act right? Why won't this person treat me right? And it really fucks with your self-esteem. And now you're in a place to where you see that you're happier alone than with this person. Or, if you're a serial dater, you feel like you're happier alone than you were with these people. And you're really loving that. You're loving that. And I'm loving that. I'm loving that for you, because I feel like you're beginning to lay down the foundation of self-love. And if you haven't seen proof of this in your life, then you will see proof of this in your life. So how will you see proof of self-love and the fact that it's working and that it's just hitting how it's supposed to? Other people will see how you're treating yourself and they will reciprocate that. Because when we treat people, always watch how we treat ourselves. And based upon how we treat ourselves, that is how they treat us. That is why you'll find these relationships where maybe somebody will love bomb the fuck out of you. They'll buy you all these nice things, give you all these nice things, do all these nice things for you. And then boom, they start trying to beat your ass. They start trying to cheat on you. They start trying to manipulate you. They start trying to maybe pimp you if those are the circumstances you've been in. And depending on how you act when it comes to those things, depending on how you handle those situations, the shit may continue if you allow it to. Or if you're strong enough to stand up and say, you know what, fuck that, I don't have to deal with this shit, and do what needs to be done, you'll find that that person will move around. But it takes a certain level of confidence in yourself. It takes a certain level of love in yourself to watch a motherfucker walk away from you and to let it go. So I congratulate those of you who are in a space of understanding that if you don't want to be by yourself, who the fuck else would want to be with you? So I applaud that energy. I also see someone out here singing and shit. You're out here singing and shit because the love feels so good. It reminds you of like the Love Jones. Got you singing Alicia Keys. A Woman's Worth. Smelling flowers. Flowers just don't quite smell the same. I feel like some of you have started dating someone and it's just got you glowing and shit. Got you all happy and shit. Hold on to that feeling. Because that feeling you feel, that's your natural vibration. And I encourage you to be so honed in on your feelings that when you feel a different feeling, such as belittlement, and this could be coming from yourself, this could be coming from the person that you're involved with, or if you feel just a shift in the energy that's so dramatic. Because I need for people to tune into the frequency of love and pay attention to what it feels like, or tune into the frequency of what you think love is. I need, because it does something to the heart. It increases a certain of excitement in people. And I need you to hone in on that feeling because that is your natural vibration. That is who you are. So when something or someone doesn't affirm or confirm that feeling within you, it's time to move. It's time for shit to shake. Because this is the year of you. And there are some people, and I'm guilty of it, who we could be the best people in the world. We could feel love every day. And then we get into a situation with someone, or we get into a situation with some people, and the next thing you know, you no longer recognize yourself. You've become lost in this relationship. You no longer have sovereignty, freedom, sense of identity. Now your sense of identity is tied into other people. And I'm getting Aquarius. I just thought about Aquarius. I thought about Capricorn. Don't allow yourself to get wrapped up in a situation that is not of you. Don't allow yourself to get wrapped up in something that doesn't make you feel loved, because I feel like once you guys get pulled in those situations, you feel like you owe someone. Like you feel like you have to keep it up. And that's not your fucking job. If someone makes you feel something the opposite of love, why are you running around here continuing try to make them feel love instead of just separating? There's going to be lots of separations anyway. So, and that's for every sign because this is the collective read. Back to the collective. There's going to be lots of separation anyway. But how are you going to ease the shift? Are you going to act the motherfucking fool when they try to go or when they fuck up? Or are you going to stand up for yourself? Because if you don't stand up for yourself this year, you're not going to be able to stand up for yourself next year, possibly. If you don't start standing up for yourself this year, you possibly might not be able to stand up for yourself next year. Next year, we're moving into a totally different energy. And if you want to be aligned with God's plan, if you want to be aligned with Mother Earth, if you want to be aligned with the universe, you have to understand that the choices that we make get us to those places. So those of you in connections that are feeling love and not used to feeling that feeling, stay in that feeling because that's the feeling you come from. You deserve that feeling. Those of you who are feeling feelings of love, but then this person makes you feel such an extreme opposite of the feeling of love, such as pain, constant pain, sucking you dry. I would maybe just rethink that connection a little bit. There's something beautiful to be found in single. And I feel like this year is going to be the year that redefines what it means to be single. Being single does not mean that no one wants you. I don't know why men seem to feel that when women are single, or shit, when anybody's single, that it's because they can't get with someone. No, being single is a fucking choice. A choice that too many people don't discover. You have people out here 13 and 14 with boyfriends tied the fuck up because they think because they have a boyfriend, they're hot shit. And I'm sorry, honey, no. If you have a boyfriend that young and it's actually allowed, there may be some inconsistencies. There may be some lack of self-love going on, not only for you, but maybe for your parent or your guardian. Children need to be children. And children not being allowed to be children is what the motherfucking problem is right now. This is why babies are having babies. Because being single gets such a bad stigma. Like, if I knew, well, actually, when I was younger, I never dated. I was watching these girls, popular girls, all these girls with boyfriends and shit at like 13 and 14. And at that age, of course, I'm thinking like, okay, well, why don't I have a boyfriend? And I thought it was me. Like, kids, we see this shit, we see the movies, we see our parents, and we think this is normal. But no, children are to be children. Children are to have childhoods. Children are to have experiences so that when they're adults, they don't have to go through such hardships, okay? So if you are a single parent of any kind, instead of just showing your children the woes and the sads and the upsets of not being with someone, because we're always with God, we belong to God, show them the positivities of being single, sovereign, shit free. Because a lot of relationships these days, they feel like jail. They feel like it's feeling very jail-like. Okay? Stepping back into the psychic tarot. For the collective, I've got love begins. Love begins. It's giving me a real form, fuzzy and warm feeling. Fuzzy and warm feeling. Kind of like the person that's running around here singing love songs and shit. That person. I feel like this is good. This is good. The rainbow. There's a rainbow on this card and there's somebody pouring water. I feel like somebody's pouring emotion. Some people may feel like their cup is being poured into. Like the things that they need in a relationship are being fulfilled. Now, I'm getting an energy of like being refreshed or being restored. So if you've had relationships that have not been doing too hot, and for whatever reason you decided to stick this relationship out, there's a possibility a very real possibility that you could be refreshed, renewed. Okay. So this could be love begins. Okay. This could be, you could be being refreshed in a relationship you've already been in. I also see this as a relationship that's just starting. Okay. And I feel like this could be for someone who, or some people who have got out of a relationship that fucked them up. They promised they would never love again. They would never love again. And now here you are loving. And you're scared. And you're hesitant. Because you promised yourself you never love again. This is a good sign to move forward. If you've been looking for a sign, if somebody's been like, you know what, just give me a sign. This is the sign. I'm giving you the green light. This is the sign. There's a lot of heart energy in this. I feel like there is a renewal of the heart. I feel like there might be some people who are, if you're single or if you're not connected or tied up to someone, living life more from a loving space. I feel like some people may have shared that energy with me last month in January of not wanting to live a charade, not wanting to wear a mask, I feel like there are people who are just fucking tired of not being able to be themselves. There are people who are tired of having to go see this friend group and be a certain type of bitch when really you're this type of bitch. I feel like there are dudes that are tired of having these shallow ass conversations with these shallow ass men. And they're wanting to stay home with the girl more often. Or they're wanting to have more genuine friendships. I feel like even the men don't want to be in anything surface level. Okay? Now, of course, this isn't going to resonate for everyone. Everyone isn't going to open up their heart. Some people are still like, no, bitch, I'm not opening up my heart. I'm not opening it up. Nope. And that's fine and dandy. But understand that you need your heart to manifest. God provides our heart's desires to us. But you need your heart and mind in combination. You don't have to choose. It's not a choice. Two energy. The balance between heart and mind is going to be very real this month. Because we will find that we need them both. God designed the heart and the mind to work together, okay? The heart helps us feel. It emits emotions. And it's that strong emotion plus intention that pulls things into our energy field. If you're not aware of that, now you are. So you're going to need the heart. If you feel like, okay, I'm going to shut off my heart. I'm not going to love and life's just going to be good. Well, it's not going to be as good as you think because you need your heart. You need heart space energy. We come from love. Love is our frequency. Okay. Love is the 104.3 to my 104.3 energy. If that's making any sense. I'm going to talk a lot about energy here in this space because everything is energy. So if you don't understand energy, I suggest you get on YouTube and hit the how-tos. But science, just basic science, help reconnect that. You know what I'm saying? One means what we think we create. So it's that staying optimistic energy. Keep a positive outlook on love. Okay. Keep a positive outlook on life. I'm hearing journal, gratitude. Get a gratitude journal. Do one of those 30-day gratitude challenges. I need you to understand what love feels like so that when you don't feel it, you can tune in. Okay? Feelings are something that is very important. And a lot of people think having feelings make you weak. But the ones that naturally have feelings, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a little more blessed this month than others. Love is in the air. Love is always in the air because God is love and God is in the air. And it's just a matter of, are you going to tune into the frequency? Are you going to sign up to emit the frequency of love? Plants. Spend time with plants. Plants are going to be our teachers this year. Plants are definitely going to be our teachers because you'll tune into the energy of the fact that plants don't do anything and they still get love. Now, I mean a plant that's well taken care of. And these plants, they are well taken care of. It is green and lush. So they are definitely being watered. Plants need water to survive. Plants need sun to survive. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but plants need like actual attention. Like, hey, how you doing today? Plants need like a name. Plants need the same shit that we need. But the difference between you and plants, well, you and me, us and plants, is plants surrender to the process. A seed sits in the ground. We're the one doing all the tending. We're the one doing all the gardening. We're the one doing all the watering. We're the one paying the attention. We're putting all this energy into the plant. So is the sun. So is the water. And from those three things, three energy, because that's the number of cards we're picking today. 3 energy, action. From that action, it grows. Now, you don't have to do, just like the seeds, you don't have to do anything to receive love, because you are love. But are you open to love? Is your heart open? Are you still playing games? If you're cheating, you need to get your shit right. You're not going to get blessed out here cheating. If you are cheating with other people's boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, knowingly, you're not going to get blessed. You're not. It's not happening for you, because you don't take any accountability for your shit. And if you don't understand accountability, honey, you don't understand God's form of love. So instead of everybody who's, walking around here with closed hearts, dancing with the devil, talking about, oh, that's why I fucked your man. That's why I did this. That's why I did that. Shame on you. You need to take it back to the drawing board, because your lack of self-love is oozing out. And if you don't take care of that shit, who else is going to? There are some wounded hearts out here who need to get it together, because your heart is your heart is your compass in this life, okay? So if your heart is closed, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Love is the way. Love is the light. Love is the truth. And that's why a lot of people are walking around here lying to themselves every fucking day and doing all this shit for the like. Shaking ass on Instagram for the like. Talking shit about single mothers for the like. Bragging about fucking and sucking somebody else's man or wife for the like. It's a lot of desperation out here in these streets. Then it's time to get undesperate. Open yourself up to love, and love will pour into you. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Rainbows are very symbolic of promises, okay? What you give in this life, you receive. If you're giving love and watering the plants, you'll be watered back in return. That is God's promise, because what you reap, you sow. That is a promise. Not only is that a promise, the scientist's way of understanding that is universal law. Instead of giving God the credit, they gave it to the universe. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But let love in. Also, if you don't know what love feels like, and you just can't muster yourself up to feel it, look at your children. Look at their smile. Look at their laugh. Check them out when they eat a snack. Especially the toddlers, their little hands and their snack and their eyes. And when I think about my children, I feel nothing but love. There's nothing else I could feel. And that feeling, that's where we come from. Y'all know I'm a Cancer. My eyes, they get wet easily. But that's what love feels like. Me even opening myself up to allow people to see that wetness, or, when a little tear hits in these videos, they get me sometimes. That's vulnerability, and that's love. That's me just showing my love, not giving a fuck how anybody feels. And because I do that, love comes to me so easily. And, I receive love all day. Not even just from my children. That's the main source, but I have a man that loves me. I have a family that loves me. I have people that I don't even know about that send me love. And it's only because I give so much love. But but it's only because I know that that's where I come from, and I know that that's what God would want me to do. And something so simple as just carrying that vibration, you're in tune with God when you do that. Spend time with plants. If you're interested in plants, wanting to become a plant mom, plant dad, do that shit. It's actually fun. And you get so proud when you see your plants grow, and it makes that little heart chakra just green right up. Okay. Rose scents. For those of you who are having some problem opening up that space, smell roses literally. Get you some roses. Get you a rose quartz. It's just the pink stone, not clear. Pink rose quartz. I actually have a little bottle right here that I keep right here. So this is like a tiny little bottle. You get stuff like this. See, it's dangerous to have crystals and you not know what the fuck they're for. Don't be out here just not knowing what you're doing. Don't be one of those people doing shit and not knowing. It's okay to try some shit, but get the information. Even for me, there's tons of things I have to learn. I'm a teacher, but I'm a learner too. I'm always going to be the student. It's a give and take. And that's also another love dynamic, you know? I love to teach, but I love to learn. And in those moments, boy, God can move, okay? I'm scratching the inside of my hand. Money, 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 money. Now, I say a lot, God is not a one-trick pony. God is not a one-trick pony. He can give us so many things, okay? And one thing about being subscribed or permanently tuned into God's vibration is when you are in the flow, when you feel self-love, when it is so prominent in you, when you align and you know who you are, your money starts to increase. Money is energy. People, now even though money has been used to do terrible things, people still send a lot of really good energy out to money, and that's what makes it somewhat valuable. Now, there will be a time when money is not valuable. With Bitcoin coming up and all these other things, I totally believe that there will be a time where money isn't the most valuable asset that you can get, okay? Money is just a physical piece of paper to acknowledge and to provide proof of energy exchange. That's it. That's all. That's it. It's just a fucking piece of paper. But because of the energy that people put into it, because of how hard they have to work, because of the energy that people put into it, because of how hard they choose to work for it, because it's a choice. We all choose how we're going to earn our bread at the end of the day. Okay. Now, some of us choose to go work for someone else to earn the bread, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you have to do. That's what the fuck you have to do. No, I'm sorry. No. If that's what you feel you have to do, then that's what you have to do. But there are people becoming to the real awareness that when God made you, he put a purpose and a plan in you. And part of that purpose and plan carries a passion. And whatever it is you're passionate about, you can generate income from. Now, it's not easy. There will be a lot of work that you do for free. But see, when you're dealing with God, you understand that everything's an energy exchange. So, per universal law, and because God always keeps his promises, per this pretty little rainbow right here. See, people think a rainbow means something that it doesn't. A rainbow just means it's God's promise. That's it. That's all. Okay? Anytime, let me tell you something. Anytime that God has declared that something stands for something, or that something means something, the enemy loves to take that thing and flip it. Same way that he'll flip words. Same way he'll create anagrams. Because it's a sign of disrespect. Okay? So just to be clear here, the rainbow was intended to stand for God's promise. And God always keeps his promises. Always. Whatever he's promised you, whatever he's promised, whatever he's written, it's already done. Okay? Now, of course, going into these things, there's going to need to be discernment. But at this point, at this level, God's people are like super tuned in. So we can decipher a lot of shit easier than some. But think of me as a match. I'm just here to kind of light the rest of the matches so that we can do what the fuck needs to be done. Rainbow stands for God's promise. And it is God's promise that if we do what needs to be done, if we stay in the frequency of love, we can have our heart's desires. And there are a lot of people around here who want money. And it's not always the selfish, greedy reason. It's not always because you want all the newest Kylie Jenner makeup. It's not always because you want to go to Ulta and clear it out, or you want to go to Nike and clear it out. Sometimes it's your grandma's sick and you need the money. Okay? Sometimes you need to prove that you're fit parents to get your kids back, because we live in a very fucked up place. Okay? Sometimes you need the money to pay for a shady ass lawyer, even though you're innocent. You just don't have the money to back it up. When we step into a place of love, when we step into that green vibration, and pink, but green, because money's green. When we step into the vibration of love, when we wear green, we tune into the frequency of what green is. Green is love. Okay? It's the energy it emits. Wear green, eat green. When we find that's why the people that are like vegans and vegetarians, and I'm not talking about eating like the processed shit, the Beyond Meat, what is it? Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef, whatever. I'm talking about the people who cut up the vegetables. I'm talking about the ones that are chopping up the vegetables. I'm talking about the ones that are, making sure to incorporate vegetables, because green vegetables, green is vitality. It is life. So anytime that we eat something that is naturally green, that is coming from God's green earth, there's an energy transference there. We pick up that energy. How are vegetables charged? How do vegetables grow? The sun is what provides the light for them. We all learned about like photosynthesis and how that stuff works. So when we put that same energy into our body, it helps shift our vibration to love, to what we naturally are. So there's going to be a lot of people, if they're not in loving relationships this month, they're going to be in love with themselves. And that space may come about if you break up with somebody who's taking you for granted. You might have to leave a relationship or leave behind certain people in order to align with your true essence. Because remember, with God, even though it seems like we're losing, we're never really losing. They're not really L's. They're W's. There could only really be W's with God in your life. Okay? All right. So we're moving on to the last card that I'm going to pick for you. It is going to be the energy card for the collective. That's what I'm picking. Going to pick up on the energy for this month. Okay? Even though it seems like we're in an energy of love. But there could always be something behind the scenes that we are not tuned into. Okay? It's turned out to be a good read. I feel like there was a reason that love was on the brain, But once you work on your self-worth, and some people are in that space. The space of realizing their self-worth. You're going to feel love based upon that. The energy card is yin and yang. You cannot make this shit up. Yin and yang, two energy. The number on this card is 22. And we're in the year 2022. Like, you can't make this shit up. Okay. Yin and yang. Balance. We are not from here. We live here. Does that make sense to you? We are not from this dimension. We are not from this earth. We are from a spiritual place. Before I'm the flesh, I'm the spirit. Before you were born, God knew you. You know why he knew you? Because you were the spirit. And he was your spirit father. Okay? So, balance. Again, like I said on the first card, finding that balance between who you were and finding the balance between who you are. And I have a really good example of this. I have a really good example of this, and I wanna bring it up because it's something that's shown up for me. Okay, so And if you hear that little baby song in the background, that's just my children in my office. The mother's work is never done. What was I going to say? Okay, so I'm me. My name's Ashley. Okay. My name's Ashley Peak. I go by Ashley Indigo. When God made me, I didn't have a color. Okay. I was just a spirit. So everything that God instilled in me, my angels, my guides, everything that was instilled in me before I got here, that is who I am. That is me at the core essence of me. Okay. That's my nature. But then you have nurture. Nature versus nurture. Okay. Nurture depends on the people you're around, the environment, and not even just that, the mindsets of the people, everything involving my environment, the people, places, and things. That is nurture. That is what's nurtured me into who I've become. Okay. So a few years back, when I first got into my spiritual place, I was, when I first got into my spiritual place, I was who I was. And now when I became a spiritual person, and back at that time, it almost seemed like in order to be a spiritual person, you had to be a certain type of way. And I left religion because I don't like that. I don't like the cap. I don't like the mold on me. I want to be me. I've always wanted to just be me, and I don't like that, so I left that behind. But then I found myself in this spiritual space. I first started having my spiritual awakening at 2012, but when I decided, okay, I want to start putting this information out, the way that I was presenting the information always felt forced to me. Forced. Because I don't feel like I was being who I was. I felt like there was, even in the spiritual community, I felt like there was a part that I had to play. Now, here on earth, who have I become? I'm a black woman. I was a black child. And with that, when you throw color into the mix, and it's not about color, but there are people here, like I said, who have made this shit about color. It was never really about color. But there are things as a black woman that I've experienced as a black child. One of the things that comes with being black is my culture. And it's not the culture that was originated when black people came about, or when someone decided that race was what it was going to be. You know, race was going to be the name of the game, because some people felt like it was a race to the finish line, even though some people had a 400-year head start. Another conversation, but it's just the truth. Now, I'm a black woman and I've went through black things. And one thing that I love about being black is I fucking love my culture. I love how we talk. I love how we do shit. I love how we move. I just love that. And, you know, I love the way we cook food. I love the way we comment on food. I love the way we put things together. I love the way we style our hair. I love it. And when I got into the spiritual community at that time, I felt like it was very whitewashed. And I felt like there was a mold that I have to put in. And if you watched my videos from maybe like a few years ago, if you know me and you're on my Facebook, Ashley Indigo page, you know, you'll see readings from a couple of years ago, and the mannerisms and everything was completely different. Now, I was in my power, don't get me wrong. But I felt like I had to, again, put on a mask for that role. Even though the messages were legit, you know what I'm saying? But I was figuring out who I was as a spiritual person. So when you watch those videos, the energy is very different, because I'm there, I'm, you know, and this, and trying to present it. But at the end of the day, spirituality is not it's not something you sell. It's not something that, there is no box. Spirituality is the relationship with self. And through that relationship with self, you have this relationship with God. And so the balance for me is balancing the small child inside of me, the girl that gets excited about everything, the girl that loves food and loves music and just wants to be a star and just wants to dance. Balancing that true essence of who I am with the lit ass bitch I become. And in my culture, there's just language that we use. There's just things that we do. There's just a mannerism. You know what I'm saying? I got two parents from Gary, Indiana. And I got family from, there's just a mannerism that I'm going to have. And I felt like in that journey, I couldn't bring that mannerism. I didn't think it would be openly accepted. But I'm realizing that the balance between Ashley Peak and Ashley Indigo, that's the sweet spot. That's where God wants me to be, because he can do something with a balanced person. If I was spiritual all the time, how would I deal with the people of my community? You know what I'm saying? Because people that become spiritual, sometimes they tend to feel like they're better than other people. And I'm not better than shit. I'm better than the girl I was yesterday and the one a month ago and a year ago. But when it comes to being better than other people, I don't feel that way. The only thing that I feel is I might show myself more love than other people show themselves, but that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? I give a kind word where I can, but I'm not into forcing any issues. So the 22 on this energy I'm feeling is you need to figure out who you are. You need to find the balance between being from here. You have to find the balance between living here and not being from here. And you have to find the balance between being the child, allowing yourself to be a child, not childish, childlike. There's a difference. And allowing yourself to be a wise adult, not a foolish adult. Because there are some childish ass adults doing foolish things. And then they wonder why they don't feel like an adult. Find the energy. Find the balance between all the things you love and all the things you hate. Learn to acknowledge the things that you hate. Because the things that you hate, some of the things you hate aren't going anywhere. Some of you might have a nose that you don't like. I mean, yeah, you can get surgery, but God makes no mistakes, so why not learn to love the nose? Now, if it's like providing breathing problems, and you know what I'm saying, like some things you have to do. If it's something that needs to be reconstructed and fixed for airflow purposes, I understand that. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking anyone who wants to get any type of plastic work, any type of cosmetic surgery. My apologies. But learn to love who you are. Put that down. Put it down, baby. He's got a picture of his sister. This is my sidekick, if y'all didn't know. Jimmy Jam. He likes to pop in every now and then. Say hi. Hi. Go watch JoJo. Go watch JoJo. Okay. Go watch JoJo, please. Find the balance between that. 2 and 2 also equals 4. That's angel. So you do need to know, and I feel like a lot of people need to know that even though things are hard right now, you are loved, guided, and supported in this journey. There are people working behind the scenes. Find the balance between here and there. Realize you are love guided and protected in the process. God created you perfectly, and it's a lie that you're not perfect. Earth's perception of perfection is very different than the heavenly realms because everybody's perfect there. Lucifer always felt like he wasn't as good as everybody else because nobody cared that he was handsome. So when he came here, he created a place that people cared about how you looked. And the people who look good have leverage. And I think that he realized that people were willing to sell their souls, literally and symbolically. And that's just not how things are supposed to be. The bad parts of us, those are us too. But if they're unhealed, acknowledge them and let them go. Let them flow. Okay. Nothing new is under the sun and nothing can be hid. So it's either acknowledge the dark or the dark will come out on its own. Okay. That's going to conclude our reading for today. If anybody wants anything personal, you can always get at me. I did have some free readings, but right now I just opened them up for love donations. So those are typically a free reading. It's a $10 minimum for a love donation. But in that time, I think that we can probably clear up some really great stuff. So I hope that everyone has a blessed, beautiful day. And I'll be tuning into the Aquarius reading later today for February. Bye.